So what I'm going to do is create a toy design here. I'm just going to do like a My Little Pony thing because my daughter likes that. So that's what we're going to go with. Super lame, but there you go. So what I'm going to do is bring up the Lightbox. You can push this, or you push the comma button, or I don't know if it's comma. But I'm going to go and I'm going to go to Tool inside of the Lightbox, and then you can see we have different resolution of the shadow box. So I'm just going to go ahead and select this shadow box, double click on it, and I'm going to minimize this. I'm going to click and drag. I'm going to hold shift to make it straight, and then I'm going to hit edit or T. Now I'm going to click and I'm going to hold shift, and I'm going to make it so that I am now basically in a turntable sort of mode. Now normally I like to work with perspective, but for this actually, because it's in essence we're actually kind of trying to create like an orthographic view thing, I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. So you can see it's kind of weird when you go into like this isometric view because it's not, it's kind of, it has no perspective, it has no foreshortening. Okay, so, yeah, there we go. So what I gotta do is I gotta paint what I want to be my pony. Okay, so I'm gonna go from the right first because that's the kind of the most obvious. I'm gonna go B, oops, sorry. I'm gonna hit spacebar, and I'm going to draw this size down a little bit, and I'm going to take my focal shift and I'm going to go, let's see something, oops, sorry. Yeah. Just want to make sure, okay. Okay, so, space, okay. So I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and draw like a pony silhouette from the side. Okay, so I'm going to hold control, and I'm going to draw roughly this pony shape, okay. And this looks terrible. So we're going to try and draw this kind of like crummy looking pony, because kids are in love with this stupid thing. Okay. Yay, look at this little pony. All right. Now, if I were to turn this from the side, you're going to see I'm going to get this awesome looking thing. Okay. So from there, I am going to go to the bottom view here, and I'm going to first start off just by holding control, and I'm going to click and drag just a shape, okay? And the whole point for me, let's undo that, is to just make it not so chunky. So it's only going to work where this overlaps, okay? So now you can see it's only going to exist in that one little spot. And generally speaking, that's still a little bit too chunky. So I'm going to, go underneath, and I'm going to hold Control and Shift. Sorry, Control and Alt. And I'm just going to remove a little bit of this on either side. Okay. And I'm going to click and do this too. That way it gets rid of the back end, because I had this line that went up across. Okay. And that looks okay. I mean, if you look at like the legs and stuff, that's fine. All right. So now what I am going to do is work on some other stuff here. Okay. If you look, you can see I need 2 legs. Right now it's like 1 leg. So I'm actually going to switch to, okay, so I gotta look and see, it's like the A and the C here. So I'm gonna switch to the back view, and it's between the A and the C. So I'm gonna hold Control, and I'm going to kind of draw this kind of a thing. Like so. And then see what that gives us on the front end here. Alright, that kind of gave me what I was looking for. But see, I need to go a little bit higher. So I'm going to hold Shift. I'm holding Shift as I go to these different views so that it snaps. So I'm going to hold Control and Alt, and I'm going to paint a little bit like that, and then we'll go here, and again it looks pretty terrible, so I'm gonna hold Control and just add a little more to this side, and we'll add a little more to this side because I think it's just off a little bit. Okay, and I am going to say that that's as close as I'm going to get to it looking kind of close to what I want. Okay, but I have a general, we'll call it horse shape. Okay, so to finalize this and be like, this is what I want, I'm going to go ahead and hit Make Polymesh 3D. Boom. All right, now I have, this is my model. This is what I'm working with. It's not great. It's not even good. I wouldn't even really call it adequate. But what I am going to call it is the first step. Okay, so I got this this thing. Now what I need to do is basically go through and sculpt this. Now, it comes with, by default, if I hit Shift F or you click over here, polyframe, it automatically creates these poly groups, which is cool and all that. And it looks like this. And this is the geometry it comes with. Now, this isn't really going to work for me. I'm not digging on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use Dynamesh so that I can kind of sculpt this a little bit further. Okay. Actually, before I even do that, I'm going to go to the transform, and I'm going to go activate symmetry, and I'm going to put on X, and we will see what that does. And let's see, I'm a blob for some reason, so let's go BST, and if I sculpt on this side, it does sculpt on that side. The asymmetry is bothering me though. So what I'm going to do is go to, let's see, it's on another surface. Where are you? So what I'm going to do is go over to geometry, and I'm going to go to mirror and weld. Make sure it's on X. See how it's X, Y, and Z. I don't know how to explain that. It would be on X, but it's on X in this case. You could change these, but mirrored and weld, and now it is now like that. And also make sure, I already did earlier, make sure you have activate symmetry, so that way it does it on both sides. So there we go. Oops. Okay. So I got that going on. He is now, or she is now, symmetrical. Probably she, because that's what Louise likes, and that's what we're going to create. So actually, as well as we're underneath geometry here, I am going to go down to not the modify topology section, which is where I did the mirror and weld, but I'm going to go to the Dynamesh section, and basically this is the resolution that you get to choose. So I'm going to go ahead and save this first. Control Shift S, and that did nothing. So let's try it again. I forgot this is kind of non-standard, so some of the hotkeys are not the same compared to everything else. So we're just going to do File, File, Save As, and you want to make sure you're saving it as a ZBrush project. Let's just go to the desktop and make a new folder here. New folder. I'm just call this toy. I don't know why I spelled toy that way. Okay. There, and I'm just going to call this toy underscore v01 for version 01. Alright, great. Okay, so now I got this business going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click on Dynamesh. And it does this, which is kind of weird. Let's hit Shift F. Not really sure what's going on with there. So I'm going to hold Control, click, and drag, and it's going to recalculate the model based on what you have. Okay. Let's try doing this a couple times. That's kind of weird. All right. So let's up the resolution. If I Control, click, and drag, and it again not going to affect it. Okay. So for some reason there's two of them. I am not 100% sure why. So I'm going to grab one of these, we'll get rid of this guy, and I'm just going to go ahead and delete him, and okay. So now I just got the one. I'm not sure why there was two there, so back to geometry, hit Dynamesh, click and drag. Let's say we sculpt. And there it goes. Okay, so I went to 424, which as you can tell is much more geometry than I need. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to go back to 128. And I'm going to click and drag. There it goes. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and sculpt this more or less into what I want. Now, this is actually probably very similar to, I'm going to say, sculpting if you're in wood. Because you might cut, use like your bandsaw to cut the wood this way. And naturally the wood is, like it's a 2x4 or something. So I'm basically going to try and just rough out the edges this way. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and hit B for brush. And then what I want to do is I'm looking for a soft, like kind of soft polish. I like that brush because what that will do, let's hold space bar, click and drag, is that it will sort of push in and flatten an area. But in this case, it's perfect because basically what I'm trying to do is is try to like, I need to up this intensity here though. Let's see, Z intensity. I'm trying to basically non-squarify this. So we're just going to go ahead and do that. And I'll hold shift to smooth. As you can see, yada, 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 yada. And I'm just trying to get this to kind of go in as best as I can. Big fan of this soft kind of thing here. I'll shift to smooth. I'm going to control, click, and drag to retopologize, so on and so forth. So, all right, and we're going to kind of, this works pretty well for the body part here. But you can see actually I need to kind of squeeze in the head here. So to do that, I'm going to hold shift, click, and drag, turn off perspective for a second. And I'm going to hold control, click, and, control. I gotta go to transform, that's right. So I'm going to go to the move tool, I'm going to hold control. I'm going to contrict. Let's see. Let's see. That's weird. Okay. So I'm going to click off. Apparently I have to click on it first. I don't remember having to do that. So just click and drag. But I'm going to hold I'm going to click and drag to, let's try doing it here. Click and drag. I'm holding control, clicking and dragging like so. So I end up with this piece here. And then what I'm going to do is move this. Oops. Move it like that. And I'm going to grab this. And let's move this over. Oh, I'm gonna press Control click to invert my selection. And there we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and try and move this. This is not working in the way. Ugh, that's not working either. I'm going to click and drag. And then, there we go. Try and squeeze this. So I just kind of, I made my selection using it, but then I just kind of held shift, click and dragged from the center here. I held shift again to make it, straight, and I'm just going to kind of squeeze this in like so. Okay, so that's good. It looks very adequate. Alright, and I can probably do the same thing here. So I'm going to hold control, click, and drag to clear out my selection, or the masking. I'm going to hold shift as I click and drag, boom, and then I'll hold control, click, and drag for the tail, and we'll go to like here. I'm going to control tap, boop, and then I'm going to do kind of the same thing. So I'm going to hold, I'm going to click and drag and then hold shift afterwards so it straightens it. And then I'm going to grab the inside one and pull it inwards to just make this tail a bit tighter. And I'm going to hold control, click, and drag to clear out the mask. And there you go. So now I kind of squeeze all those. I'm going to hold control, click, and drag again, and it's going to retopologize it. Alright, so we're getting there. It's getting done, son. So now I'm looking at some of this other stuff, and I'm just going to generally try to affect this. I'm going to go B, was it M? Move? Yeah, move, and then V. So now I'm just going to kind of just use this in general and try to just chivvy some of this up here, okay? So I'm going to pull this down, and we'll pull this a little bit wider. And we can click and drag this up, and so on, and so forth. I'm going to hold shift just to smooth that out, hold shift just to smooth that out. Alright. We're getting closer. And I'm looking at the nostril here, or this nose part here, and I'm going to control, click, and drag to rebuild it. So getting closer and closer to the shape. Alright.